Really feels good to be back practicing with you all after having a couple of weeks off. And also just taking pause and realizing we've crossed that bardo into a new year. In many ways, it's just another day, but it still gives us a chance to take pause and realize that we've closed the chapter to 1 year. We're stepping into another one new and fresh. I'm glad to do that with you and to enter it mindfully, patiently. For some of us, our bodies feel a little bit out of sync, from all the indulgences or just from having time away from the mat. So I want you to offer your body that ease of mind space. And I was thinking about teaching tonight, and what matters most to me is coming to my mat not to fix something that's wrong with me or try to improve something, but to try to just wake up to something. It's an awakening practice. It's not a practice that assumes that there is something wrong that needs to be fixed. The assumption in the underlying principles and guidance of yoga is our innate wholeness and letting go of the things that get in the way of experiencing that. So please consider this as an awakening practice, waking up to love and joy, peace, good health, insight, clarity as we go breath by breath. And also, since it's a gentle practice, it's just a soothing, calming breath. There's nothing vigorous, which makes it uh, extra suitable for the times that we're in. So if you would arrange your body comfortably, if you didn't bring a blanket tonight, I recommend that to be something that you bring with you every time you come. Just a little nice use of that in many different ways, and at least one block, if not two, and you can have them someplace where you can get easily at them. And thank you, Greg, for being up here and offering your gifts, your company. So let's open the palms and rest them gently on the knees. If you'd like to slide your eyes closed, not really as a way of um, zoning out, but as a way of dropping in, taking a little pause and kind of sheltering ourselves from the visual input and allowing a wakefulness to come into other aspects of our being. Slowing the breath down, inviting our senses to brighten up a little bit, which often happens when we close the eyes. Sometimes our sense of hearing becomes a little more acute. Perhaps our sense of taste, and feel the tongue in the mouth, the presence of the teeth. And as you just start to sip and ease the breath in and out slowly, just to, like you're just tasting the breath. What do you start to notice? Perhaps for some, a slow breath, eyes closed, invokes like a healing balm. For others, it might make us fidgety, especially if we haven't practiced in a bit of time. You can have the fluttery eyelids and a little difficulty in getting your body to be gently still and relaxed. And all of that is okay. So please just stay with the smoothing quality of your breath, relaxed and curious, attentive, not reaching for anything. And this is our opening reading by Dana Faulds, and it's called It Is Enough. It is enough right now to taste one moment of peace. Of course, we want more, but at least the door is opening. It is enough to draw a conscious breath and let our hands relax, fingers releasing their tight grasp on things outside of our control. It is enough to shed a layer of stress as if taking off a jacket or a pair of too tight shoes. Ease of being has to start somewhere, and this breath is my first step. It's a great little mantra, this breath. Letting those words repeat through your mind several times. Just this breath. And as you sit, witnessing every breath as it comes and goes, do feel the sense of the ground under you, seated in a beautiful, clean, spacious room. There's the warmth of the temperature. There's the warmth of the hearts that are here. There's the opportunity to really let go. Let your cares melt off your shoulders like releasing a heavy burden. There's the opportunity to feed your body the breath, to increasing the flow of prana into your body and replenishing, starting to refill your well. To sense any measure of stability with the way that your hips are anchored on the ground, the sense of length through your torso. You've got strength through your spine that allows you to sit upright, and there's ease across your shoulders. There's the very kind and loving presence of your palms right down on your knees. And your belly is relaxed enough so that the in-breath finds a sense of expansion and spaciousness. And the out-breath is a treasure. It is the chance to let another layer of dissolving and opening to occur. Every so often, if a little sound feels like it would be good, feel free to do that, whether it's a sound to the breath or just a or an ah. Perfectly fine to let those vocal cords vibrate in a natural kind of way. And we'll stay with the breath just a bit longer with the hopes of having just a feeling of steadiness in the quality of the way that you're breathing. And noticing where it's most detected, whether it's the nostrils, maybe the back of the throat, might be somewhere through the chest, or it could be down into the belly where you feel this breath moving in your body. It's a practice of awakening, a practice of becoming a little more flexible, a little stronger, and treating ourselves kindly. So let's take a left hand over the heart, wide, generous palm over the heart, and bow your head slowly, reverently, intentionally to your individual practice tonight. Yoga is typically a very individual pursuit shared in the company of others, but it's very much a time for you. Allow whatever arises emotionally and mentally to be there. Let it have its place and then let it go. But what is your greatest and highest hope for your practice tonight? What do you need more than anything else? And whatever comes to mind, just breathe into it, witness it. If nothing comes, that's fine. I know you'll get something out of it. And then we're going to add the right hand on top of the left as a way of reminding us that it's not only an individual practice, it's also a practice that we have the ability to send merit and good favor and good energy out into the world as a result from this practice. So energetically, we can dedicate the goodness and the good feeling of this practice to all beings, to health and peace and happiness throughout this world. So let's send a gentle exhalation out with that intention that goodness will ripple out from this practice tonight. Mm. And the hands can come off the heart. Hold your palms right out in front of you like you might do just offering a basket of bread to a friend or someone who's hungry. All these intentions are just an offering. And then roll the palms over, look down, touch your hands, or if possible, the whole palm wide to the ground as a way of releasing those intentions and kind of bowing toward them one final time here. Beautiful. And then let's roll our spine up, bring our hands back behind us, and we'll reverse the fold of the legs. Rearrange your seat down a little bit deeper, and we'll just start to move. Let's take left hand over onto the right knee, right hand behind us, and we're going to be twisting to the right. Several breaths here. Deep breath in and out. And really building the twist from the base upwards. So you do have that sense of being rooted right down into your seat, perhaps the sitting bones, plugging in and rooting. And keep the flow of the breath smooth and deep. And keep on winding your torso around. In breath is a soft belly. Spacious out breath can have a little bit of pressure to a little bit of a squeeze. Keep your face relaxed. Let your jaw be slack. Eyes open or closed, whatever brings the most awareness for you. Try to put plenty of twists in the practice tonight as we want to kind of wring out and detoxify, re-energize. Let's keep a nice firm grip with the left hand onto the right knee. Turn your chest toward the front of the room and sweep your right fingertips up through the air. Keep facing forward toward me and come over into a little side bend. Let your left ear fall down towards your left shoulder and give a progressively long reach from your right sitting bone all the way out through your right ribs, through your right arm. Feel all the way to your right fingertips. And if it feels good for you, turn your gaze down toward your left thigh bone. And maybe a few in the practice want to bend the right elbow and put your hand just very gently and kindly on top of your head, and then feel that extra stretch through the right ribs. Stay steady with your breath. Let's bring ourselves back up. Cross the right arm directly in front of the left arm. Crisscross over. Bend at the elbows and either stop right here hugging the elbows in order to open through the shoulders, or wind your forearms toward each other and come into eagle with me, either way. And let's sit the elbows up as high as we can. We could also lift the chin if we wanted. In breath is here. And the out breath, round and tuck. Hug your belly in. Bring your elbows down towards your pelvis. And we'll just start to move just like that. In breath, lift it up. Out breath, round it down. A couple more times. Slow and steady. Of course, it's always beneficial for me to remind you that you can pick and choose whichever movements and postures you want to do at any given time. You can skip things. You can kind of make up your own creative versions of them, or you can do something entirely different. That's just fine. Gotta keep flowing with the breath. Next time the elbows are up, we'll hold them and pause. Root to your seat. Zip your spine up just a little bit taller. Smooth your shoulders down away from your ears. The upper back opens a tad more that way. And then we're going to unwind the arms. Extend the arms strong. Reach out to your fingertips. And let's twist all the way over. Right hand onto left knee. Left hand behind us. And a steady, strong twist over to the left. Every exhale, Let yourself get a little more expansive. Good. Keep the length of the spine going. Keep on drawing your left shoulder back, staying wide across the chest. And notice the power of your gaze. Wherever you set your eyes, it becomes your drishti. If your eyes are closed, it's an inner drishti or inner focal point. If your eyes are open, you can just send some loving kindness out through your eyes. Softness and a willingness to see what's right there. And the right hand will stay firmly on the left knee. Sweep those left fingertips up through the air. Face the front of the room. Side bend over. Draw down with the left hip. A little longer through left side waist, left ribs, left arm. Let your right ear fall towards your right shoulder. And for some of us, turning the gaze down toward the right thigh bone might feel like a nice finish there. And if you'd like, you can bend that left elbow, hand to the skull. Smooth out your breathing. Back on the mat. Slowly, strongly sit yourself right back up to vertical. Cross the left arm over the right. Bend at the elbows, hands either to the shoulders, or if your body allows you, bend at the elbows, wind your hands together. Sometimes the right hand can grab the left palm, lift up with the elbows, in breath here. Exhale, round. Feel the back of your spine open right up as you curl forward and follow your own breath pattern here. The entire inhalation lets us lift the elbows, and the entire exhalation, we drop them on down. Don't hesitate to put a sound to your breathing. It makes the whole experience for all of us a little more powerful and contemplative when we hear one another breathe. Next time your elbows are up, pause with me if you can. Lift up one tad higher. Tops the shoulders down, away from the ears, upper back opening. Very nice. Unwind the arms. Extend your fingers all the way up. Spread through the fingertips, comb through the air. All 10 fingertips are going to touch the ground, and just a pause right here. Feel the fingertips touch. It's easy with your breath. Just feel the gentle effects through your torso, through your shoulders. Beautiful. And let's make a shift. Let's come on to hands and knees to the tabletop. You got that blanket. If you brought one, you can use that to pad your knees. And just for future reference, we do have some loaner mats in the back. So if you ever want a second mat for extra padding, you can just let us know when you arrive. So let's play around a little bit in tabletop. Let's just find the knee position directly under the hip sockets and your wrists directly under your armpits. Spread your hands wide and press them down as though you're trying to imprint your handprint into some nice wet, soft sand. And let your head hang naturally. Your gaze probably lands somewhere around the knees. And let's rock the table side to side, pushing your hips left and right. And feel out into any kind of tightness, any tension that you've got in the outer hips. IT band, piriformis area. And if that's feeling pretty good, you can add to it the shifting of the shoulders. So when your hips go left, your shoulders can go right, and you could even look to the right. So maybe it's a bit like a dog wagging its tail. Chance to wake up your tactile senses with your palms on the texture of your yoga mat. You can feel the tops of your feet long and relaxed right down on the mat as well. And we're going to slow that rocking down, and we'll find our way right into cat and cow, one of those just so basic, so fundamental, but really so sweet and good for our spine as the hips lift, the chest lifts, and the exhale, the rounding and the tucking. And can you approach it as a moving meditation, not as exercise? But I really encourage you to approach your whole practice as moving meditation. Finding the harmony between breath and movement. Keeping your attention as local as possible. Delighting in your body's ability to move. And as you lift the chest and the hips, that could take up the entire in-breath, and the exhale could be the entire duration of the rounding of the spine. Good. A few more rounds, and notice the job that the abdomen has here to kind of help tilt the pelvis back and forth. Notice the stability of your arms and the way that your palms press right down into the mat. And then from here, at any point that you're ready, let's curl the toes under and find ourselves in a downward facing dog. Approaching it in a similar way that we did with table and rocking the dog left and right. So you will be feeling the weight shift from one foot to the other a bit. Same thing, one hand to the other. And staying steady with the breath. And then once you level out your hips, so not rocking side to side anymore, I'll start to pedal out the heels, bending one knee at a time and pressing the opposite heel down. Waking up the soles of the feet and maybe feeling that stretch between the toes and activating some upper body strength as you push your hands forward and away from your torso. Might send the hips a little bit higher. Good. And then transitioning to up and down on the heels, right? So both heels lift at the same time and both heels sink at the same time. Steady breath. And then if you can, hold the pose for 5 breaths. So some outer stillness. The awareness is lively. Maybe starting at the soles of your feet. Just guide that awareness up through your legs. Feel the sensation. Rounding over the hips. Flowing down through the torso. Down the arms, out into the hands, and the head relaxed. And then please come to your knees, wide knee, child's pose, big toes point in. Take your time, easing your hips back towards your heels. If you're tight or you just have a preference for it, put your elbows down on the mat and then pivot your hands in. Stack one hand on top of the other, make a nice little pillow for your forehead, and melt your way right down. Allow your forehead to relax right on top of your hands or the mat. And like dropping a pebble into a pond, there's a ripple effect from where you drop the pebble. What if that place on your forehead that's touching the mat or the hands is like that point where the ripple starts, and it's a ripple of relaxed awareness that spreads right from your forehead all the way down to your neck and shoulders, torso, down to your hips, allowing a little more space perhaps between the knees, a generous stretch for the groin, and a sense of being turned in, nurturing your own inner energy right here. This feels good. Give a good long exhale out, even through an open mouth, gently right here in your own space. Beautiful. Then please join me in coming back into tabletop. Align your knees And we'll do another stretch right up into the shoulders. So we're going to keep the right hand straight down on the mat. And as you look to the left, take your left hand out to the side, lift it as high as you can. We're going to thread through a couple of times before we hold the stretch. So reach it across, dip down with your left shoulder. Some of you will tap the left side of your head down momentarily, and then come back up. Inhale, lift it high, breathe it out, rotate, reach across, dip down. And then find your own pace. Generous in-breath, you lift it up, you open the heart. Exhale, dip it. Good. Twice more to lift. Good. Nice toning through the core, stability through your right arm. Prepping that left shoulder for a generous stretch, and then one more time if you're with me, lifting up. Thread it through, and then we're going to stay, and I'll offer you a number of options here. If you drop and tuck that left shoulder down and the left side of your head doesn't easily reach the mat, put a block right there. And for this moment, you can have your right palm on the mat directly in front of your face. That left arm is straight, your left palm is facing the sky, and your hips are right above your knees, just like they are in a classic table. And then if you push into your right hand, keep your smooth breath going. Do you feel how you can bring that twist up the spine further, and perhaps your gaze will naturally float upward toward the ceiling. So stay here, receiving the rotation of the spine, the opening in the upper back, the chance to create a little bit of stability through your core. And if you're feeling adventurous and you want to take it into an interesting balance, shift your weight completely onto your left knee, slide your right foot behind you on the ground, stay on your right toes for a moment until your right leg is straight, and you've got some form of balance and core hugging in, and then lift your right leg up any amount, your right foot off the ground. And just witness the challenge of it. Little playfulness in this nature. You can also experiment with lifting your right hip up just the tiniest notch or dropping it down the tiniest notch. See how that goes. Deep breath in and out. And you'll be rebending your right knee. Put it back down on the mat where it was. And as you push into your right hand, pull your left hand out. Lift it up. Look left. Here's just the finish right here. And then put your left hand back down. And let's give a little shake. Maybe you want to wag your head, or a little cat and cow, or a little rock the table. And we'll do the other side, and we'll get a shoulder opener on the other side. So establish left palm planted. Right hand lifts. Look right. And remember, 5 or 6 times we're just threading it through and pulling it back out. Resist any temptation to rush. Just this one breath at a time, one movement at a time. If you're following my pace, this is the last lift. And then threading through and staying. So tucking down with that right shoulder, right side of the head to the mat or onto a block. Your left palm is broad on the mat right in front of your face. When you feel guided to do so, you can push into that left hand. Bring the twist up the spine bit by bit. And notice the kindness that you exhibit and you show to your body when you just do things slowly with sensitivity. Just respect the places that are tight. New year, get a chance to do more yoga than you did during the holidays, and the body will respond. So some of you are staying here. Others of you are taking the balance challenge by putting your weight into your right knee, straightening your left leg long, keeping the toes down until you establish a hugging in, a firm sense through your core, because there's a lot of core strength called on if you want to be able to lift that left foot up. Keep breathing. Keep allowing that right side of your neck to stretch a bit, right shoulder. And when that feels like it's run its course, bend the left knee, put it right back down on the mat, press into the left hand, a final withdrawal of the right hand, lift it up. There's your finish right there. Nice, and the hand comes down. So let's give things a shake. And yogi's choice. You can come into child's pose. You can come into downward facing dog. There could be some that like to take a little flow. So if you're a vinyasa inclined yogi, you can do that right now. Glad to see so many of you practicing with us at home this evening. Enjoying the environment where you are, whether you're alone or with others. Beautiful. Nice. I'd like you all to find your way either into a downward facing dog or any kind of preparation that you would like in order to be able to walk your feet to the top of the mat. We're just going to take a very slow, meditative flow that will start from a standing position. So nothing that I would call rigorous, but it's a full body movement and that's got its own beauty. So initially, once you get into your fold here, slide your palms up to the front of your shins, lengthen out your spine, look slightly forward in front of your mat, and fold back down again. I suggest at least a tiny bend in the knees, and twice more just like that. Feel your hands sliding right up your shins, grow your spine long, fold again, breathing out. Last time, this is a half lift. Exhale. And this time we're going to roll slowly to standing. Again, it's a moving meditation. Press into your feet. Feel the body rise. Comb your fingers out through the air. Reach all the way overhead. Nice. Bring your thumbs to your heart. And just pause right here for a moment. Relax your shoulders. Don't be worried about what's next. Just feel your feet on the ground. Feel the breath in your lungs. Feel the body that you're in. Nice. Okay, so we're at the top of the mat. Little soft bend in the knees just to make it easier on the knees. Take your hands down, out, and up. This is the in-breath. Palms meet. Exhale, bowing, reaching all the way down for the ground. Inhaling up into that half lift. Breathe out, fold. Bend the knees and roll back up. Several times, that will be our pattern. If your rate of breath is different than mine, follow your own breathing. Otherwise, follow me. Breathe it out and fold. Breathe in, half lift, long arms, legs, and spine. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, roll up. Root to your feet. Strengthen through your legs. Reach as high as you can. Twice more. Extended exhalation. Deep, generous inhalation. It's like waves rolling in and rolling out. You can hear the sound of the waves. You can hear the sound of the breath. Last one. Half salutations. This time as we're folded, please stay here folded. Put your fingertips on the mat. Step your left foot way back and drop your left knee to the ground. Take your block, bring it onto your mat and place it inside your right foot so it'll be ready when you are going to put your left hand on it shortly. For now, come on up, stack your hands on the right knee. I'd like you to shift forward and back a little bit as a way of waking up the right quadricep, Also, activate the top of your back foot in pressing down, helping you establish your foundation. Just feel the pace of the stretch. Feel into that front of your left hip crease. Your right foot is wide and really offering you some stability. And then eventually let your hips drop to a place where you can hold them. And if you feel like your balance is with you tonight, take your arms up. Reach out through the fingertips. Some of you will go with a wider V because it just feels like more generous through the heart space, and you'll enjoy that. The gaze can stay down on the floor in front of you for simplicity and a little additional stableness, or some of you will just lift the gaze. And just witness the wobble, witness the body trying to keep itself balanced and all the tiny muscles and ligaments required. Appreciating that. I'm going to circle my hands as far back behind as we can and then drop the gaze. That left hand's going to find its way onto that block directly under the left armpit, right hand to the right knee. Going to zip your spine long and then twist right as deeply as you'd like. Exhalation is the detoxifying. The inhalation generally is the energizing aspect of breath. It's amazing what happens when you let go of tension. There is a joy or a peace that lives underneath the surface when you just let go of that tension. So we're staying here for 5 more breaths, which would give you time, if you want, to curl the left toes under, straighten the left leg. Maintain the twist as best you can. Some of you are going to want to lift the right hand up, and it could be straight up. Maybe some in the practice who want to circle the right arm because your shoulder just really wants that. And there could be some who will take what we call a half bind, bending the right elbow, sliding the right fingertips along the back of the waistband, and peeling the heart open. Stay breathing. Good. One more breath here. Good. Let's ease the left knee down onto the mat. Come on out of your twist. Pause. Let your gaze drop. Let your head drop. And then nice and easy, you can slide your hips back any amount. I'm going to go all the way back and keep my right heel on the mat. Pull my right toes back. Lengthen my right leg and bow nose toward the knee. We're going for a hamstring stretch on the side. If you've got 2 blocks, you could certainly have one under each hand if that's helpful for you. Relax your jaw, soften your eyes. Let your tongue relax in your mouth. Notice where the stretch is touching your body. Just say yes. Last few moments, can you let your head drop with more ease? Can you let your shoulders melt a little bit away from each other? Good. Nice. And then join me in stepping onto the right foot. Guide your right knee forward to where it was above the ankle. You're on the fingertips. And if you lift up your left foot, pivot it around. We're going to come into a kneeling warrior 2. So the right foot stays forward. The torso comes back up to vertical. For now, put your right hand on your right knee and take your left hand, kind of like you're parting a curtain, and pivot back until your left fingertips point straight to the back of your mat. Turn your gaze to the front of the mat and lift your right hand up to match your left. And you could choose to have palms down, kind of classic version, or some people's shoulders are actually happier with the thumbs facing up. Kind of lift your energy up so that left thigh bone feels long and extended. You got a nice lift coming away from the mat up to your chest. Soften your shoulders. Stay for a couple of breaths right here. The gaze is calm and steady, not searching for anything, just present. Then a version of side angle. Your right elbow comes onto your right thigh. Your left arm reaches up. Could be that it stays at about 12 o'clock, or some of us will come a little bit further on a diagonal. Feel a deep, deep stretch from your left knee up to your left hand. Nice. And then one more move in the sequence. Bring your torso back up to vertical. Float your hands down to your hips for a moment. You are facing the left side of your mat. Slide your right leg long. Pivot. So your right toes, everything about your body is facing to the left side of the room of your mat. And come on over. Drop down onto your left hand. In any fashion that you can, take your right arm up and come into a beautiful long lateral stretch from your right foot way out to your right hand. Breathe in, breathe out. Wiggle your head around a little bit if it helps you stay more relaxed and easeful through the neck. Beautiful. And then you're going to turn around. I'm going to put you into downward facing dog at the back of your mat. So turn toward the back of your mat. Position your hands. Won't be too difficult to swing around. Curl the toes under. And you are in downward facing dog facing the back of your mat. So 5 breaths here. You can stay in down dog. You could rest in child's pose, or you can take a little flow, traveling forward through plank, perhaps lowering to the ground. Good. Staying complete with your inhalations and exhalations. Nice. And then meet me again in that downward facing dog. And this time we'll be walking our hands back toward our feet, bending the knees, allowing ourselves to roll to standing. And we'll turn ourselves back to face the front of the room. Hands at the heart. Good. So give things a wiggle, a shake, an adjustment as needed. And just pause with me. So we just did one side of a full sequence. So I just invite you to check in. Just notice what you notice about your body. Maybe you have a sense of more kind of presence or energy in the right side or left side. The beauty is really just in scanning the body kindly. That's the practice. Good. Let's take a nice slow flow on the other side to complete. So bring the arms down, out, and up in breath. Big reach. Palms together. Exhale. Fold it down. Complete your exhalation. Inhale. Half lift. Exhale, fold. Stay here. Fingertips down. Right foot way back. Your right knee drops to the mat. Uncurl the toes. And switch that block so it's ready for you when you need it onto the mat. And then rise on up. Stack your hands on your left knee. And pad that right knee if needed. Adjust your footing. You really want the front foot, that left foot, to feel wide and anchored. And then let's pulse the hips forward and back just to bring extra awareness and strengthening into left quadricep. Feel the action of pushing into the top of your right foot and the front side of your right shin, pushing to the ground, how that helps you create a firm base. Stay steady with that coordination. And then at some point, you are going to settle the hips wherever you can maintain the hold. Lift the arms if you'd like. If that feels too unsteady, the hands can stay on the knees. And there's the reach that activates the arms. And then the next layer is soften your shoulders a bit. And maybe the arms come out wider, maybe not. Gaze can be down or up. Just breathe. Feel the body balance itself. Feel that deep, deep stretch front of your right hip. And the hands start to circle back and around, the gaze drops. You know that right hand's going to come directly onto the block, which is right under the shoulder. Left hand to left knee. In breath, like a zipper. Zip up and lengthen out your spine. Exhale, rotate a little more deeply. Good. So let that twist imprint itself on your spine. And then if it appeals to you, you can curl the right toes under and straighten the right leg. Keep breathing your way into a fuller and fuller twist. If it calls to you, the left hand can come up. And circle the arm if you'd like. Release through the shoulder. Keep your twist and your breath powerful. And some might want to take the half bind, bending the left elbow, slide your fingertips along the back of your waistband, and use that as a way of kind of peeling the chest open a tad more. Deep exhale. To release. Right knee comes down. Unwind the twist. Both hands to the mat. Let your gaze drop. Let your head drop. If you want to take the hamstring stretch with me, pull your hips back. Your left heel stays anchored on the mat, but your left toes might pull back to make the stretch a little bit deeper. Support yourself with blocks if you want to under each hand. And fold. Allow your low back to widen. Good. Feel that, all that sensation back of the left leg. And we're going to be stepping onto the left foot. The left knee comes forward to stack on top of the ankle. And then we're going to lift up the right foot, pivot around behind us. Warrior two, kneeling. So left hand finds left knee. Right arm comes back. Yep, and then both arms find that T shape. Good, so lift your energy up away from the mat. So it's got an energizing quality to it, a strengthening quality to it. And as you reach out through your fingertips, just remember you don't want to strain the neck. And I find that delicate balance between just enough effort. And then a modified side angle, left elbow to left thigh. Your chest stays wide open toward the right side of your mat, and you give a good long reach. Right knee out to the right side body to your right hand. Good. Keep your chest and rib cage open to the right side of the mat, right side of the room. Bring your torso back up to vertical, hands to the waist. Here's our final move. So you're going to lengthen out your left leg and then face yourself completely toward the right side of your mat, right side of the room. Reach over, place your right hand down on the mat, right underneath your shoulder. Take a good long stretch as the left hand lifts. And for some of us, that left hand might point toward the back of the mat as your left toes reach toward the front of the mat. Breathe into that deep length that you're creating. That spaciousness. And then one more time, you're going to pivot toward the back of the mat. Find your downward facing dog so the hands wrap around. Curl those toes under. Final down dog of our practice. In breath, out breath. Stay or drop to your knees or take a flow. You could hold a high plank if you feel like your arms just want a bit more action. Good. And we are going to make a shift at this time. So I invite you to put your knees down. Drop down onto one hip, swivel around, and join me on your back. Drop the overhead lights down here in the room. And take a 5-breath pause here just to reset, to integrate. Feel the contrast between holding yourself up away from the ground and now letting yourself dissolve down into the ground. Feel the base of your skull connecting to the firmness of the earth. Feel the steady, smooth quality of your breath. Feel the shoulder blades connecting to the ground. There's that lovely length of the spine. There's a suppleness to the spine that wasn't present when we started practice, but it's here now. And feel your hips. Notice the energy of your legs and sensation of your feet. So I have another 5 or 6 minutes of movement for you and then Shavasana. But if it's in your best interest to start to make your way into stillness and into relaxation at this point, I invite you to do that because this practice is for you. It's intended to be really nurturing. So you decide if you want to head into Shavasana now or you want to move a little bit more. So those who are going to continue movement with me, please bend your knees and cross your right ankle over your left knee. I'm going to start into some nice hip openings. You're going to bring your left thigh in at this time and thread your right hand in the opening between the thighs. Your left hand wraps around, so now you're able to clasp your hands on the back side of your left thigh. If you flex your ankles, kind of pull your toes towards your knees just slightly, that's considered beneficial for the knees. And then start to shift your body left and right. It could be subtle, gentle rocks at first, if that feels helpful. And any way that you can keep your neck long and your chin even possibly slightly drawn in toward the throat. Consider that. And that might require a bit of padding under the head for some of us. And then smooth out your breath. Bring your attention down to your right hip. If this feels like a strain, you could put your left foot back down. Just keep your right ankle crossed over the left knee and take your right hand and just kind of wiggle that right hip around, that right leg around, and you'll be fine. Others that want a deeper stretch, take your left hand and grab the sole of your right foot. We're coming into pigeon on our back. Left hand grabs the sole of the right foot, and the right hand can now help support the right shin, right lower leg. Bring that in towards your chest. Lengthen now your left leg out and let it drop down toward the ground. And then with this firm grasp on the right shin, start to rock your right leg left and right. All still seeking a deep stretch, a lot of sensation down into the right hip. Good. And notice if you've gotten grippy in your face at all, relax, stay smooth and soft with your face. And there could be a few in the practice tonight that want to incorporate some core strength on the subtle level. So for you, straighten your left leg quite firmly. Hold your left heel barely off the ground. And then use your deep abdominal muscles to curl Your head and shoulders, even just slightly off the ground, doesn't take a lot. Drawing the navel toward the spine. You're maintaining that stretch through the right hip, and you're just adding, layering on a little for the core. Deep breath in and out. Shoulders and head return to the ground. Re-bend your left knee and put your left foot flat on the mat. And now we'll take half of a happy baby, unwinding your right hand from where it is, reaching and grabbing the outer edge of your right foot. Your left arm can come just right on out to the side for a moment, and then push your right heel or face it straight up toward the ceiling. So this is half of a happy baby. Some of you will lengthen out that left leg, and it'll feel pretty good to press your left thigh down as you actively pull your right knee over outside of your right armpit area. And a few of you might take the left hand onto the front of the left hip or left thigh bone and just give it a firm press down. So really deep one-sided stretch for the hips here. And the mind stays relaxed and alert and awake. Breath stays full. And then you can let that go. Just take a long stretch right down the center of your mat. Give it a good firm reach. In breath. Out breath. Pause, relax, notice, feel and sense. Very present, just right here. The ebb and flow, sensation. And then the other side. Bending the knees. Right foot stays flat on the ground. Left ankle crosses over the right thigh. For some people, this will be enough stretch for the left hip. Those who want more, bring the right thigh in, reach your hands behind, get a good firm clasp. Slight flexing of the ankles. And then start your rock, left and right. The reason for the rocking is just to try to wiggle a little more of a stretch into that left hip. Keep following every precious breath as it comes and goes. Good. And you can ease back out, or you can stay where you are, or follow me into reclining pigeon. Right hand grabs the sole of the left foot. Left hand scoops around. Right leg lengthens and lowers to the ground. If it's helpful, rock left and right with your left leg, that left shin, back and forth across the body. Still maintaining your sense of being grounded, close to the earth. Those who want core activation, powerfully push forward with your right heel and lift that right foot just off the ground. And slow and steady, curl your head and shoulders up even a tad. Hug your low belly right down towards your yoga mat. Smooth, deep breaths. Good. And ease your head and shoulders right back down. Rebend your right knee. Put your right foot flat on the mat. Half happy baby on this side. The left hand unwinds, grabs the outer ridge of the left foot. Right arm relax wherever you'd like. And once you've got that good firm hold with the left, you can lengthen out your right leg if you'd like, if your body does that. Deep breathing. Maybe the right hand assists in pressing down the right hip and the right thigh. long body stretch when you're ready. Reach as deeply, fully out as you can. You might even give all the muscles of the body a little squeeze as you breathe in. Breathe out and relax. Let your body go just as soft as possible, like the way water dissolves down into sand. Good. So the next few minutes are yogi's choice of any kind of finishing movement that you would like so that you are ready to spend 10 minutes in Shavasana with some healing sounds of the crystal bowls, a bit of my guidance to relax. So uh, take your time finding your finishing movements. As I said, you've got probably 2 minutes or so, which is plenty of time to fit in a twist or a supported shoulder stand or a bridge. And above all, keep sensing, feeling, loving your body just as it is. Those in the room, I can see you getting comfortable and settling down. Those practicing at home, I hope you've got a cozy blanket nearby and a room that's adequately quiet for you to drop into this very unique and precious meditation. To me, Shavasana is a meditation on the overall experience of wholeness and well-being. It doesn't have a single point to it. It's a very broad, open awareness. And for it to have its full effect, you can start to relax a bit of your body at a time. You can soften your heels. You can allow your calf muscles to melt down into the earth. There's a gentle curve. Yes, that would be nice. Thank you. A gentle curve to the knees. If you have any discomfort on the back of your knees, please put a rolled blanket or a few blocks behind your knee creases. Allow your thigh muscles to relax, maybe even sensing how they hug the bones. Feel the weight of your hips dropping, widening, grounding you further. And as the breath becomes pure and natural, there's the gentle rise and fall of the belly that you can feel, but you don't need to manage anything about that. You're the relaxed observer. Your back ribs are softening right down into the ground, and your front ribs find a way of softening also. Releasing the weight of your arms lets the chest and shoulders find their way to relaxed open state. The jaw is unhinged, the lips are together, the tongue rests in the lower jaw, and the throat is soft. Back of the head perfectly supported by the mat or the cushion under you. Full body relaxation awareness. Just let yourself float. Be easy. I remind you that at the center of your being, all is well. home again. I've slowed my practice down, breathing as the ocean breathes, flowing easily into rest. Energy streams through as I let go of everything I've learned or seen. And I have followed where this life force leads, holding, loosening, sinking into stillness. I've slowed down to find my heart and my mind already aligned with my body. Savoring each sensation, I come home again to my own sweet peace, to the depth and mystery of this release. Mm. Without moving quite yet with your outer body, just start to move your breath with intention, smoothing, nurturing, continuing to calm and give you what you need. Noticing the fruits of your practice. Notice the effects in your body of the movements. Notice the effect on your mind of the moments of clarity and focus and presence. Notice the effect of your practice on your heart state, any way in which your emotions feel a little more neutral, a little more balanced, more equanimity. Just appreciate that you've done something really good for yourself this evening. And then once you find the steady cadence to your breath that facilitates a sense of being grounded and awake, you can start to move your body gently through your fingers and your toes. And just finding that simple interest in bits of movement at a time. You can circle through your wrists and your ankles at some point. And likely it'll feel good to have a long body stretch at some point. Maybe you feel a little taller, more expansive than when you walked through the door or you came home from work, as the case may be. And then hugging your knees in towards your chest and feeling that nice little letting go of your low back again. And then when you're ready, you can roll on over to your right side. I think it's pretty nice to pause for a few moments curled up on the right side. That's a little pause for gratitude. Just saying thank you to life. Thank you for a fresh start, new year. Grateful for the wisdom that brought you to your practice tonight. And finding a way to sit up gently whenever you're ready. And if you'd like to cross your ankles or just find some stable way to sit. And before leaning right into whatever follows practice for you, would you return with me back to palms down, just like we started? Sense of hips on the earth. Simple length through your spine. Really easy spaciousness across your chest and shoulders. Ebb and flow of breath. Just notice any degree of ease that you have now. And then let's join one another with the hands crossed over the heart and the head bowing, honoring, treasuring the effects of the practice tonight for ourselves and the way that it brought our inner virtues, inner qualities to the surface so that we can share them more easily with others. Maybe a little more patient, a little more kind and loving and gracious. And let's take the arms out to the side now. Big, wide reach. Arms overhead as you breathe in. And the palms meet. glide them right down to the sacred center of your heart. Give a little bow, final bow. And I send each one of you in this room and on Zoom wishes for peace, health, and happiness now and always. Namaste. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for those sweet sounds, Greg. Really nice. I appreciate it. And namaste to each one of you in the room. So we're back in the groove Monday night, 6 p.m., Thursday mornings, 9:30. And really glad that you're here. I think Greg's going to play some handpan for us as you all are just, start to roll up your mats, or if you want to just sit and listen a bit, you can certainly do that. Yeah.